I'm alive in you, Jesus. I am yours, 'cause you said it's so. I am loved, and you won't let go. I'm alive in you, Jesus. Oh Spirit, come, set our hearts with holy fire. This hope we have, our God's not dead. Claim on me, I'm alive in you, Jesus. Oh, no grave could hold my King. He stands in victory. He's alive in me, Jesus. Oh, you're alive in me, Jesus.
Just going to let that sit there for a minute, see what you think about it. So I'll explain that in a minute, but As you can see through this video, through just some of our highlights from camp, there's a lot of fun and really awesome things that happen at camp. And I'm excited today just to be able to share just a little bit with you about the week. It would be impossible for me to give you every detail of the week, but because there's so much that happened. But I love camp, and I always have. And I remember the first time I went to camp. This is back in Texas. I hated it. I did not want to go. And in fact, I left after the second day. But then I went back the next year with some friends, and I loved it. And that's actually how God brought me to salvation. And camp has always been a huge part of my life since then. So before I say much of anything, though, I want to give some of our students an opportunity to share about camp. And I think some of them are going to share in person. So they've been going back and forth. I don't know, but I think y'all just should. Let's just do it. Let's just go on. Yeah, y'all give it up for these guys. Come on. All right, so I'm just going to let you share whatever you feel like you want to share. What the best part of camp was, or anything like that. Should I just not use this mic? Check. Ooh, that is so much better. Okay, so just share what the best part of camp was to you, or how God spoke to you at camp, whatever you want to share, all right? Tell me your name.
My name is Dylan Putcher, and I want to thank everyone that helped make it possible for all of us to go to camp. It was, I'll say, the best week of my life. I grew closer to God, my friends. They helped me so much this week. My favorite time was worship. I feel like I stepped out of my comfort zone with that. It was just an amazing time. I don't know. Thank y'all.
We'll explain the ketchup bottle later. But I can explain it? Okay, I'll say what my favorite part was first. Okay, my name is Austin Gaines. My favorite part of camp was probably missions. Getting really involved in talking to the students personally and honestly learning a lot about them. There was one specific part that I liked, that we had a lot of kids, so we split them up into groups. We had rec, crafts, and a story time. And Drew, Sophia, and Brennan were over story time, but we had extra people, so I went over there and started helping. And at one point, the kids were like, they had said something like, they think that the harder they work or the good things that they do for people, like good deeds, will get them into heaven. And I was like, I just kind of explained to them that you don't need to do good deeds and be a good person just to get into heaven. And I really think they really listened to that, so that was kind of cool. I've never experienced anything where I've got to tell somebody about that. So that was probably my favorite part. But about the ketchup bottle. So it was 10:30 at night. We were going back to our dorms. And I was walking with Jackson, and there's a statue. I don't know who it's of. It might have been the founder of the college, but there was a bunch of bushes surrounding said statue. And he's like, we got to take a picture with the statue. So I'm like, okay. So I started to step into the bush and get up onto the statue, and I see this ketchup bottle, unopened, sitting inside the bush. And I was like, this is crazy. We got to take a picture with it. And so we took a picture with it, and Jackson's like, well, now we have to keep him. He's one of the bros. So I was like, okay. And so we brainstormed for all night, and then I came up with the name Devontae. And now he lives in my fridge. But yeah, that's about it.
I'm Logan. My favorite part about camp was probably rec. Me and Coach King, we was on rec, and this kid Rico, dude's like 11 years old, killed me in soccer. I've never seen somebody so good at soccer in my life, and like he made me look stupid a lot. And I was one of the leaders, and I was embarrassed. But yeah, we got to meet a lot of kids, and those kids were cool. Those kids were really nice. Like, I didn't think I would like them kids. I thought they were gonna be mean to me, but they were really nice, and they listened to like story time and stuff like that. And like, I was surprised because when I was that age, I ain't listened to nobody. And yeah, so they were really cool. And this little girl, what was her name? India. This girl always wore leggings. She was so cool, and I bought her a bottle of water. She was really nice. She was the nicest to me. There was this one girl, she hated me. Don't know why, but she hated me. As soon as she see me, she was like, "Jeez, love you too." Like, honestly. And yeah, they all really listened, and they all knew a lot more than they let you believe. They all really knew the Bible, and they wanted to learn more. And they came back every day, and I loved them, and I miss them. I can't wait to see them next year. Thank you.
All right, so we are going to hear from the other students, but through a video. All right, so I did some interviews with them, but so some of them are going to be kind of goofy questions, like how'd you sleep last night, like those kind of things. But I just want this will also give you a little bit of a picture of what camp is like. So let's watch this. So what did you think about worship last night?
Well, I really felt God's presence. You know, it's a pretty big deal. It's pretty cool. You know, it was fun. Had some tear-jerking moments.
What's about your travel experience to camp?
Tiring.
All right, tell us about your travel experience.
My travel experience consisted of me waking up an hour late in a different city and having to meet the church bus in Bella, Cincy. And when I got on the church bus, I was sitting like this the whole time because I didn't want to squish Miss Carrie. Therefore, every time I had to stand up, I had to do this because my ribcage hurt so much.
It's about your travel experience.
In 2 words, nap time.
So what are your thoughts after your first day of mission?
It was fun, but I really wish we would just bang on that one door just a little bit harder so we didn't have to go on a wild goose chase trying to figure out where this kid lives.
So what are your thoughts first day of mission?
All the kids were really sweet, and man, but that one little boy, he should have, I don't know. We should have banged on the door harder. We got banged like the police. Like bang, 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 bang.
All right, what's your thoughts first day of mission?
It's rough. It's a little warm out here.
Hot.
That kid was kind of getting on my nerves, but they're sweet and I like them.
But they're kind of getting on your nerves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you sleep last night?
I slept pretty good. That's pretty good. What else do you want me to say? Like, I slept 5 hours.
How'd you sleep?
I almost didn't hear my alarm. So, yeah.
How did you sleep last night?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Hurt my side.
Tell us about your basketball experience.
Good gosh.
There's this 6'10" dude. I jumped. Logan tried to block him. I tried to block him. We go like that, and I go landing right on my hip. Great times. Oh yeah, and then I also caught a big cramp in my calf because I grabbed the basketball around me. Yeah. That's it.
How was Rise this morning?
It was exciting.
That's all you're going to get from it.
I don't talk much.
How was Rise this morning?
It was fun. I had fun. And also, I got a new Bible, so I'm pretty excited.
It's really good. Infinite drip in the ice. The ice.
How was Rise this morning?
Shock. One word. Shock.
How was your Chick-fil-A?
It was a delish.
It was heavenly.
It was so good.
It was better than the dull cafeteria food.
Best meal since we've been here at camp.
Well,
We threw our food away.
I took the first bite and shed a tear.
It was like a touch from heaven.
They say I got saved last year, but that's not true. I got saved when I ate that waffle fry.
It was God's waffle fry.
God's waffle.
God's waffle fry.
How was your lunch?
It was really good.
What'd you eat?
I had chicken nuggets.
From?
Chick-fil-A.
How was your lunch?
What?
Chick-fil-A.
How was it?
Chick-fil-A.
Who are you?
Yes.
How was your lunch?
Oh, wait a minute.
How was your lunch?
It was pretty good.
How's your lunch?
Great.
How's your lunch?
Spicy.
A1. Not B2, but A1.
What's the question?
How was your lunch?
You're petty.
It's pretty good.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Good.
How's your lunch?
Decent.
How'd you feel about winning Squad Wars today?
Yes.
So, after watching this video, I know some of you may be wondering, how did I survive this week with these students? And I wondered the same thing. It was by the grace of God, and that is all. But there's so many fun things that happen at camp, lots of crazy things, from almost leaving Jackson Ammons. Before camp even started, he almost got left, but we picked him up, and it worked out. So from that to Dylan and Brandon almost breaking their bodies in basketball. There's not many dull moments at camp, but our days consisted of, basically, I'll give you a rundown of just some things that happened. So we'd have a time of worship in the morning. We'd have a mission huddle just to get together and to get prepared for missions. We'd go get lunch, then we'd go to our mission site. And you saw a little bit of our mission site in the recap video. And them talking about, I wish we would have banged on that door. There was this one kid who we were trying to take home. He's like a 4-year-old little boy. We go to his mom's house. Mom's not there. And so we're trying to figure out, where's this kid go? And he's like, well, I think she's down that way. Anyway, long story short, we didn't bang on the door hard enough. His aunt was inside the whole time. But anyway, so we learned our lesson. You got to bang like the police, according to Trinity. So, but anyway, so we had our mission site, and then we'd come back for free time, do basketball and rock climbing and swimming, or just sit in the dorm if you're tired. And then we would have small group Bible study and a time of worship, just all the churches together. And then we'd have our own church group time, which is one of my favorite times of camp, is church group. So on our mission site, it was a lot of work. Honestly, on the third day, I was thinking, I do not want to go back there. But all these students, I love just seeing them love these kids and just share the love and truth of the gospel with them. So just seeing our students bring hope and a little bit of light to a community in Ruston, Louisiana. So each day, students would share their testimonies with these kids at the park. And the first day, we had Brennan share and Austin share, and then finally Trinity. And they all did incredible jobs. Sometimes the kids weren't really listening, but the thing is, they still just shared what God has done for them in their life. And Trinity, I'm really proud of her. I don't want to embarrass you, but halfway through camp, she came to me and she said, I think I want to share my testimony. And then she walked away. So she was really nervous about it, but she followed through with what she felt like God was calling her to do. And it was really awesome to see that. So I want to share just a passage with you. This is a passage I shared with the group before we went on our trip. Romans 10:14 says this: How then will they call on him in whom they have not believed? How will they believe in him who they have not heard? And how will they hear without a preacher? How will they preach unless they are sent? Just as it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news of good things. So y'all have beautiful feet. Did you know that? So, but this passage shows us that there are people in this world who don't know Jesus, who have never put their faith in Jesus, or maybe even have a bad understanding of who Jesus is. Like Austin shared, they got to tell the kids, it's not about doing good things. That's not what gets you to heaven. That's what they thought. And we got to tell them, no, that's not what it's about. It's about putting your faith in Jesus. So getting to see, not me, this wasn't me telling the kids this. This was our students telling them the truth of the gospel. It was a really awesome thing. So, my favorite part of camp isn't just seeing these students have a good time, but it's also seeing how God moves in their hearts. And I really got to see that all week long. From the first day when we were singing all these new songs, we had no idea how they went, but to see our students move, begin to open up their heart to the Lord to allow him to work. So we actually have some more interviews. We're going to show you guys just how God was moving in their heart. So y'all watch this. What's God been speaking to you during camp?
I feel like he spoke to me that I should be a counselor at one of these camps and like be a leader.
Megan, what was your favorite part of camp?
Worship and the band and then playing with the kids at the park. Definitely.
What was your favorite part of camp?
I liked the worship. That was my favorite part.
What was your favorite part of camp?
Actually, the late night food trips. I changed. Yeah, late night food.
Yeah, it was fun. Whataburger was really good.
And then we got Insta famous 2 days in a row. Hopefully we get it tomorrow.
There's the bacon. Okay, I'm ready. Hold on, wait.
Dylan.
Favorite part of camp? I say hard question. I have two, actually. Worship was pretty great. Wait, three. I like the sermon part. That was the very first time I've ever taken notes over a sermon in my life, and I felt like that helped with me understanding what was being talked about. And during the worship, I've never like put my hands up like this or put it up, and I felt like doing that, it made God just, or the Holy Spirit, enter me more. And that was just a wonderful feeling. And the other night, I was upstairs just talking to Austin and Hayden. We were just laying down talking, and then a group of guys come and they're like, "Hey, do you want to go downstairs and play some football?" First off, why would you play football indoors?
They did it.
That is a good question. We did that the first night. You didn't know about that, so.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why all the couches were moved. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. I was like, you know what? Instead of playing football, let's talk about the sermon, talk about worship. And we just all sat in there, sat on the couch, talked for like a good 30 minutes about just how everything went. And I thought it was pretty great. So that was my favorite part of camp.
I was like, dude, he gets tired.
That one night
Like 6'10".
when you were like telling us about ourselves, I don't know. And then it made me cry. I don't know, just like all the times I cried. And like tonight, and like, and then again when Nathan over here talked about his stuff. Oh my gosh. And like the other part, the fourth part, that was my favorite. Was
Almost pretty sure.
was when I had to share my testimony. That was like my first time doing that, like ever. And I think just like getting ready for it just really made me realize things about my relationship with God. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like he was calling me to like just share it with them, because I feel like most of them can probably relate to it too. I don't know. So that was my favorite part.
Oh my goodness.
What was your favorite part of camp?
Being with the kids at the park and just being able to do stuff with them.
I really enjoyed the worship, but it was probably hanging out with people and getting to know people. Worshiping with people.
I could have sworn I just heard this song.
Talking to people. People. Favorite part of camp.
What was your favorite part of camp?
Most definitely helping out the little kids and hopefully making a difference. I really feel like when I talk to them, I feel like a lot of them are listening, and I feel like I help them.
Yeah. What was your favorite part of camp?
Probably bonding with everyone, because like we were all close before, but like I feel like we're close enough to like share private things and things that like bother us. So I feel like we can help each other out more now because we bonded.
This is just a brief, and it's hard to get these students to talk. That's why I wanted to have the video, so to capture moments even at camp to where you could really see how God's moving in their heart. And I think you could see that some in them answering these questions. But what I would encourage you to do, if you're really curious, how did God really move? And just go talk to these students. Just come find them and say, hey, tell me about camp. Just tell me what God's doing in your heart. It's so much easier for them to have a conversation one-on-one than to get up here and tell everybody. And they can give you all the details. You could probably take them out to lunch and they would tell you all about camp. So they would definitely tell you if you took them to lunch, right? Yeah. So anyway, it's awesome to see God move, and going to camp would be extremely difficult and maybe not even possible for some of these students if it was not for your help as a church. So I just want to say thank you for your support financially and through prayer, and our students want to say thank you. So we have one last video to show you real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, church, for helping us raise the money to go here. It has been a wonderful time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sending me and Devontae to church camp.
It's been a great experience meeting my son.
Thank you for allowing us to come to church camp and then meeting all the kids at the mission, and that was really fun, so thank you.
Thank you for sending us to camp.
Glass, yes, for sending me to camp.
I'm here, by the way.
Go.
Thanks for sending me to camp and making me cry again.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Thank you for sending me to camp.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much from our student ministry to you, church. Thank you for supporting our students in this way. It was worth it. Every prayer that was said, every dollar that was given to help us go, it was worth it to see our students grow and to see them pour love out into these kids in this community. So I just want to share one final thought. One of the things we talked about at camp was celebrating every step that we take in our faith, whether it be small steps or big steps. And I don't think we do this very well. I know myself personally, I don't. When I was at camp, I quickly realized that on the first day that God wasn't just speaking to these teenagers, that he was speaking to me too. And that's one of the good things about being a youth pastor is you don't have to stop going to camp. You just get to keep going and going. But even though it's tiring, it's God moves and it's always awesome. But I think God wants everybody in this room to hear the same thing that we heard at camp, the same way that God spoke to us. And we talked about taking big steps and little steps in our faith. And no matter what kind of step is next for you, ultimately, you are the one who has to take that step. And trusting in God, he will give you the strength, but you are the one who actually has to take that step, whether it's a big thing or a small thing. So, church, my prayer for you is that you would surround these teenagers, that you would love them, that you would support them, and that you would encourage them as they take steps in their faith. That they would know when they come here, they would know that they are loved. And I think they do, but honestly, I think we could probably do better. I think we could show them that we love you, we support you, we want to see you succeed in your faith and your walk with Christ. And don't just celebrate when someone gets up and walks down the aisle at the end of a service. Let's celebrate these teenagers when they actually show up on a Sunday morning when they could have just been at home sleeping. That may seem like a very small thing, right? To actually get up and come to church. But if we celebrate those things and show them, hey, that's a big deal that you're here, right? And not just to celebrate when someone gets baptized. That's a really awesome thing. Obviously, we're going to celebrate that. But let's celebrate whenever they are positive influences at school. Whenever they're constantly surrounded by negativity, let's celebrate these things. Let's encourage them. Let's show them that we got their backs. So that's my prayer for our church, is that we would just pour out our love and support for them, not just once a year whenever we go to camp, but year round on a weekly basis. Whenever you see them, just say, hey, how's your week going? Tell me what's going on in your life. Take them out to lunch. I promise you, they're not going to deny that. All right? I promise you, they will not deny that. So, but anyway, this isn't just for these students, though, talking about next steps. What's the next step for you? Is it a big step? Is it a small step? Maybe the next step for you is just getting into God's Word on a regular basis. That may seem like a very small thing, but it's something to celebrate. It's something that God could really use to move in your life. So whatever that next step is for you, I wonder if you would just say, God, I want to take that step today. I just want to share one last passage with you in Hebrews 12, 1-3. It says this: Therefore, since we have so great a cloud of witnesses surrounding us, let us lay aside every encumbrance and the sin which so easily entangles us, and let us run with the endurance the race that is set before us. fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him who has endured such hostility by sinners against himself, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. So the race that the author of Hebrews speaks of is exactly what we're talking about with these steps. So in a marathon race, there may be times where your stride is really good, where you're making some good, you got a good pace going. But other times in a marathon race, I've never run a marathon. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But other times in a marathon, you get to a point where you don't even know if you can take another step. And I wonder where you're at in your faith, where you would say, yeah, I'm on fire. Maybe some of your students would say that. I'm on fire. I'm going. I'm totally sold out for the Lord. But then you know what's going to happen in a couple of weeks, right? You know it's going to be tempting to say, well, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. I think I just want to go back to the way things were before camp. So the race that God has called us to, faith, just take every step trusting in the Lord. I wonder what that step is for you. My prayer for each student in this room, that you would be inspired to pursue Jesus, realize the depths of his love for you. I think you really saw that at camp. I think we talked a lot about God's love. Our shirts say access. I almost didn't even talk about this, but our shirts say access. And this passage here talks about how we have access to God through grace. It's not about the good things that we do, but it's through grace. We have access to God because he loves you. Understand that love and be inspired by that love to take the next step in your faith, whatever that looks like for you. So I hope that maybe just seeing a glimpse of our camp experience would inspire everybody in this room to know that God is moving, that he's moving in the lives of these teenagers. He's moving in my life. And my prayer is that he's moving in all of our lives. But I hope that you would be inspired to know that God is moving and he wants to move in your life too. What's that next step that God's calling you to? Is it big or it's small? And let's celebrate each step knowing that God is moving every step of the way. Let's pray together. God, we just thank you for your love and thank you for how good you are to us, Father. I pray that we would just not forget how you moved in our lives at camp, that we would take every step with boldness as we move forward, Father. And just for every person in this room, God, whatever it is you're calling us to next, if it's a big step or small step, help us to trust in you. God, let us not lose heart, but consider the depths of your love for us and to be inspired by that. God, we love you. Just thank you for how good you are. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Y'all coming up. Ben. And singers. Thank y'all for sharing. That is wonder. Oh, it was just the singers. I'm sorry. I thought everybody was coming up. My bad. Yeah, you stay where you are. I want to explain something. Every week in the bulletin, there's a little sheet of paper in there. It's got this blanks in it. You know what I'm talking about? Good night. Anyway, sorry about that. I just want to read something that God kind of put on my heart while y'all were sharing. It's from 1 Timothy 4, verse 12, and this is one many people know, and it's used in youth ministry a lot, but there's a good reason for this. It's let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity. And that's what these students, that's what these teenagers have done over this past week and today, in setting us an example and in sharing with us what they've learned and what they were able to accomplish this past week through the power of God. And I really appreciate that, the leadership that you're showing in the church by being just who God's called you to be. And I think that's phenomenal. You're doing exactly what this passage says to do. And so you're to be commended for it, all of you, and y'all too. And so I certainly appreciate that. But this morning, this invitation is going to be just a little bit different because we're not going to cut off after one or two verses. They're going to sing the whole song. And so we invite you to be a part of that and to just sing along. I'm going to be over here on the side, kind of. If you have a decision to be made this morning, if you've never put your faith in Jesus, and they've talked about that some this morning, but if you've never actually felt God touch your heart, you never put your faith in Jesus, you can do that today. You can trust Him as your Lord and Savior today. And if you don't know how to do that, if you need some help in that direction, I'll be kind of over here on the side, and you can come and talk to me about that. Or if there's any other decision that you're making that you need to make today, if maybe just kind of what Kenny was talking about, just about small steps and celebrating those small steps. Sometimes we kind of give ourselves a hard time because we don't do the big things in life, but the small steps are what leads to the big steps. And so so maybe you've kind of given yourself a hard time about that, and maybe God just wants to say, look, I just want you to keep walking with me. And so there may be any number of things this morning that God's dealing with you with, but as we sing the song this morning, I just encourage you to just go to God and just make the decision that He's calling you to make this morning.